Ausable did not fit any description of a secret agent Fowler had ever read. Fowler is just an inquisitive guy who's interested in pursuing the life of the people who are detectives. So he's there with this fellow Ausable, who's a detective, secret agent, and then he's trying to read his life and be with him to have some thrill in his life. Fowler. Following him down the musty corridor of the gloomy French hotel where Ausable had a room, Fowler felt let down. Fowler is feeling, what kind of a secret agent have I come to rather? He's so fat, he's so lazy, how can he be a secret agent? He has got no thrill, no intelligence, he's just a foolish kind of a fellow. That's where I told you that do not judge a book by its cover. And the Fowler, the person who has just come to see, just gets, the opinion made that this guy is not at all interested and interesting. Fowler felt let down. It was a small room on the 6th and top floor and scarcely a setting for a romantic adventure. And this Fowler thinks that I am wasting my time. This Ausable is just a very lazy fellow. Why have I come to his hotel and why am I researching upon him and why I want to have an association with him and have some thrilling experience? I'm just wasting my time. Ausable was for one thing very fat, and then there was his accent, and this Fowler thinks that the visitor Fowler thinks that his accent is also not that interesting. Though he spoke French and German passably, he had never taught nicely. He spoke French and German, but then he altogether lost the American accent. He never did that and which he had brought to Paris from Boston 20 years ago. You're disappointed, Ausable, said wheezily, looking at him quickly and just telling him that I think you are disappointed to meet me, Fowler. You had bigger expectation that I'm meeting a secret agent and his life will be so thrilling and all that. And look at me, I'm a very fat and dull fellow. Ausable himself is so intelligent that he has read through the mind of this visitor. You were told that I was a secret agent, a spy dealing in espionage, interesting detective stories, and danger, challenging experiences, and you think that I am such a dull person. You wish to meet me because you are a writer. And I know, Fowler, that you are a writer and you wanted to meet me and get some experience on and write on me, but you have nothing to write because I am looking like a very fat and dull and lazy fellow. And then you want to you're a very young and romantic person. Romantic means the person who is full of imagination, the one who has high proactive imagination and the one who loves to be into, thrilling experiences. That sort of people are called as romantic people. You envision mysteries, figures in the night, the crack of pistols, drugs in the wine. Instead, you have spent a dull evening in a French music hall with a sloppy fat man who, instead of having messages slipped into his hand by dark-eyed beauties, gets only a prosaic telephone call making an appointment in his room. And that's all says, right from here, you envisioned. You envisioned means you thought me to be a mysterious figure and you imagine that there will be mysterious experiences, thrilling experiences. People will be carrying pistol, there will be, drugs in the wine, some secrets to be revealed, but here you find no kind of experience of that sort. Ausable is saying that I can read that, resentment, that rejection that is there in your mind. You feel very upset, dismayed that I did not give you any thrilling experience and I'm a very simple person. You're bored, I know. You've been bored. The fat man chuckled to himself as he unlocked the door of his room. And then they are going from the hotel balcony, they are not the corridor, they are going to the room, and then when they opened the door, they just stood aside and let his frustrated guest enter, and then they are entering the room. So now here you see in this picture that they both have entered. This man says, Ausable says that I know, Fowler, you are a writer and you feel very disappointed meeting me because I am not giving you any thrill. Come, let's go to my room. And then he enters, the author, this Fowler as well as Ausable, they both enter into the room. Whose room is it? It is this fellow, Ausable's room. Ausable told him, but take cheer, my young friend. Presently you will see a paper, quite important paper for which several men and women have risked their lives. Come to me someday soon. That paper may well affect the course of history. And I'll show you some paper, don't worry. It's a very important paper and it will change the history and all that. In that thought is drama, is there not? As he spoke, Ausable closed the door behind him. Then he switched on the light. And then he's talking that I've got a paper to show to you, Fowler, don't worry. And then he switched on the light. And as the light came on, Fowler had his first authentic thrill of the day. As soon as the room was full of light, the room was unlocked, the light were on. For halfway across the room, a small automatic pistol in his hand stood a man. And there was a man standing waiting for them in the room. And both of them are very... In fact, Fowler is so scared. Oh my God, there is a man with a pistol in this room. Ausable blinked few times. Max, he wheezed. You gave me quite a start. Now here this is very important, presence of mind. Otherwise, Ausable could have been, people are thinking that he's fat and dull and lazy and how can he be detective? He did not lose spirit or he did not show any kind of surprise. He's behaving very okay. He says, oh Max, you gave me a surprise? What are you doing here in my room? Max was a slender, a very lanky, thin, little less than tall, with features that suggested slightly crafty, pointed countenance. Countenance means face of a fox. Now, Max's appearance is described here that Max's face looks like a fox, a very slim fellow. And then he says, are you here, Max? And you're giving me surprises. Even this fellow knows, Ausable knows that Max has come to harm. But still, he does not let Max realize that and he behaves very normally. Countenance, I already told you, means the face. There was about him, aside from the gun, nothing specially menacing. There was nothing threatening. Menacing means nothing threatening. Only the gun was little, a concern. The report, he murmured, the report that is being brought to you tonight concerning some new missiles. I thought I would take it from you. It would be safer in my hands than in yours. I have come to take your reports and I will keep those reports safe. Ausable moved to an armchair and sat down. And Ausable said that, you remember that Ausable was also talking about the same paper to this guy Fowler when they were entering the room. And then here this guy Max has already been waiting for him, Ausable, that he will forcefully take that report from him. I am going to raise the devil with the management this time and you can bet on it, he said. And now this fellow, Ausable said, I will scold the management that they are just allowing people to come to my room without my permission. And I know you came from the balcony, you came from the window, you are just entering my room like that from the window behind, and then management did not even see. I will fight with the management. He's behaving very casually. Ausable is not at all threatened or, he's not scared, although he may be, but then he's using his presence of mind and he's just behaving very normally. This is the second time in the month that somebody has got into my room through the nuisance of a balcony. You came through the balcony. Fowler's eyes went into a single window of the room. Now Fowler sees that there is no balcony, it's just a window here. It was an ordinary window against which now the night was pressing blackly. It was all just one window, there was no balcony. So he says, how come there is a balcony? Against which now the night was pressing blackly. Balcony? Max said with a rising inflection. No, a pass key. I did not know about the balcony. I just came through a fake key, another key. I had some key which can open all locks, but then I did not came through the balcony or the window. It might have saved some trouble had I known. Now this Max fellow, the visitor who had been waiting with the pistol, says, had I known that there is a balcony, I could have come through that side. Good that you told me. Now I will go from this side only. And there is here we have to notice that now we can only see the window and the black night outside. But this fellow Ausable is telling, I know you came from the balcony, but this fellow Max says that I did not come through balcony. I had a master key and through that I had entered your room. Now I will use that balcony. It is not my balcony, Ozable said with extreme irritation. It belongs to the next apartment. Arey, that's not our balcony, it's next apartment's our balcony. And then they have made a way, and then he cooks a story about the balcony. He glanced explanatory at Fowler, and then he started explaining this to Fowler that, oh, this is not our balcony, actually our neighbor's balcony. You see, he said, this room used to be the part of the large unit, the next room. Though that door there used to be the living room, and it was a big room earlier. There was this living room, and then there is one more house near that, and there was a balcony. It had the balcony which extend under my window, and it is just going near my window. Now you can get onto it from the empty room 2 doors down, and somebody did last month, and people often come and enter my house using that balcony from that apartment, and I'm really upset with this, and I will complain people. The management promised me to block it off, and the hotel management told me that they will block this passage, but today see, somebody has entered. So he's convincing Fowler that there is a balcony attached to the next apartment, and this is all heard by Max also. Max is the person who is there to harm, to take that paper, and he has a pistol in his hand. And you know who are those two people entering through the normal gate? That is this fellow Ozable himself and Fowler, the writer. Max glanced at Fowler, who was standing stiffly, not from Ozable, far from Ozable. Max is so scared that somebody is here with a pistol, and waved the gun with a commanding gesture. Please sit down. And he said, you sit down. He said, we have a wait of half an hour, I think, 31 minutes. So he says, half an hour, I know your report is coming in half an hour, and I will take your report and go. This fellow Max says, and you sit down, Mr. Other visitor, and we will just talk. And then he still does not show any kind, this Ozable still does not show any kind of fear, even though he's, pointing gun towards Fowler and asking him to sit down. Still Ozable says, not 30 minutes, just 31 minutes. That shows that he's still showing that he's not at all affected by it. Was 12:30. I wish I knew how you learnt about the report, Max. And Max, I'm surprised, Ozable says, that you know about my report and it is coming 12:30. Oh man, you are really intelligent and you're keeping a nice eye on me. The little spy smiled evilly, and then this fellow Max is, he's enjoying this. Actually, this is a kind of compliment that, even though you did not tell me, but still I have kept all your secrets in my mind. And we wish we know how your people got the report, but no harm has been done. I will get it back tonight. And then he says, I will get my report, that secret report I will take tonight. Just sit down, both of you, and don't make any noise. I have a gun in my hand, Max says, and I will take the report. What is that? Who is at the door? And suddenly they hear there is a knock at the door. Now this is where the real thrill comes into practice. Suddenly there is a knock at the door. And then Fowler is so scared. There's a man standing with a gun, and there is this casual conversation. He could be killed, and Ozable is behaving very normally, and then suddenly there is a knock at the door. Ozable just smiled. That will be the police. And then Max is asking, who's at the gate? He says, police. I told police to keep a check on me because an important report is coming to me, and I know somebody might be there to harm me. So that is why I told police to keep an eye on me, and then the police is entering. I thought that such an important paper as the one we are waiting for should have a little extra protection. I told them to check on me to make sure everything was all right. Max bit his lip nervously. Now Max is surprised. The game is played, now the ball is in Max's court rather. Like how Max came to terrify these people and take that report. But here, this guy, this spy, this agent, this Ozable, he has already called police, and Max is so frightened that police will catch him. What will you do now, Max? Ozable asks. If I do not answer the door, they will enter anyway. And he says, if I don't and just open the door, they will enter the room and then they can forcefully enter. What will you do, Max? The door is unlocked and they will not hesitate to shoot. Max's face was black with anger as he backed swiftly towards the window. Now Max just ran. He knew that there is a window, he can run through that window. Now Max had just been told, initially Max was told when they were making this conversation, that there is a balcony. So Max thought that he will jump to the balcony, and through the balcony he will just run away. Max is sure that police is here now. He can't wait for half an hour. Police is already here. He can't shoot. If he hears gunshot, police will catch. It's better to leave this matter here and run away. Max's face was black and he just ran towards the window. He swung a leg over the sill. Send them away, he warned. He said, just send your police away. I will wait on the balcony, and I am waiting at the balcony. Just send the police away. Send them away or I will shoot and take my chances. The knocking at the door became louder and voice was raised. And Max said, just quickly send the police off, otherwise I will shoot you. And then the knocking became little more, it became louder. Mr. Ausable, keeping his body twisted so that the gun still covered the fat man and his guest. The man at the window grasped the frame with his. Now, Max is so terrified when there is knock growing louder, and Max is holding the windowsill and still pointing the gun towards these two. And then he somehow falls. He just falls into the balcony, presumably. So far, what we know is that there is a balcony. So he somehow falls when the lock is open. The man at the window grasped the frame with his free hand to support himself. Then he swung his other leg up. He just put both the legs outside and over the windowsill. The doorknob turned. Swiftly, Max pushed with his left hand to free himself from the sill and dropped to the balcony. And Max just jumped into the balcony. The balcony was told by Ausable that there is a balcony. So Max is now using that balcony because police has come. So he just jumps. And then as he dropped, he screamed. And then as soon as he jumps into the balcony, there is a big shout as if somebody is hurt or somebody has fallen. Shrilly means very piercing, kind of a very shrill kind of a sound came. The door opened, and when they opened the door, it was not police, it was a waiter who brought wine for them. Now this is the suspense which is now clearing to you. With a tray, a bottle and 2 glasses. Here is the drink you ordered for when you return, he said, and he set the tray on the table deftly, uncorked the bottle and left the room. And Fowler is like, he's waiting that police is there. Fowler was so much afraid. And he says, oh, it's not a police, it's just the waiter. He's white-faced, he's so much, awestruck. Fowler stared after him. But he stammered, the police? There were no police, Ausable sighed. Only Henry, my waiter, whom I was expecting. But won't that man out of the balcony? And what about that man who was out the balcony? Fowler began. No, said Ausable, he won't return. That man will never return because outside the window there is no balcony. Their room was on the 3rd floor and this man just jumped thinking that it could be a balcony and he just fell from the top floor and he must have been dead. You see, he will never come back. My young friend, there is no balcony. So what saved this man, Ausable? His presence of mind that he cooked up a story about balcony and all that, and because of which only, believing him only, this guy Max jumped. So that is where the presence of mind is very important. Even in the most tragic situation, you should not lose your calm. And we see the life of this visitor Fowler as well as the detective. He behaves like a detective here because this is a real thrilling experience. Fowler was initially thinking when they were making their way to the hotel room that, oh, he's such a fat person, he has nothing to look like a, spy or somebody. But here he had seen his live thrill, his live, detective kind of an experience here because of the presence of mind. So never judge a book by its cover. With this, the story Midnight Visitor comes to an end. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much.